Hey, how you guys doing? So let's talk about this referee Arbery thing because, look, I'm going to be honest. She's a distraction. She's a problem. Why is she a problem? She's a problem because, to be quite honest, she's more over than most of the AEW roster. She probably has more Twitter followers than they do. She probably sold more merch than they have. For starters, she has merchandise. Now, let's before we go into some of the deep stuff, about her and everything. Let's just be honest, okay? Referee Aubrey is not really an aberration as far as her behavior is concerned. In Mexico, they have heel referees. Of course, WCW did it with Nick Patrick. There was a time where there was a referee in boxing. The Let's Get It On. That guy was kind of a superstar referee. But I'm personally not in favor of having superstar referees. Referees are not performers. They're not part of the show. Okay, they are there to mediate the various rules, and that's kind of how they get their stuff in. They get their stuff in by playing into the rules. If a guy's breaking the rules, the referee does what he does. The referee, gets distracted, and that's how the referee performs into the show by doing their actual job. Now, what Ref Aubrey does, of course, is the camera is constantly on her face as far as what she's doing, like what's her reaction. Ref Aubrey is selling things, and it's not just because referees sometimes react to crazy things that they see, but the camera doesn't really cut from the match to the referee. Now, as part of her little interview she did with Chris Jericho, I cannot listen to Chris Jericho's podcast. It's absolutely insufferable. It always has been. Jericho is good. Too much Jericho, like when Jericho's on commentary on Jericho's podcast, is too much Jericho. Now, I have found since he left WWE that you can actually have too much Chris Jericho in your diet. And I think I've reached that point 2 or 3 years ago, and I have not listened to Chris Jericho's podcast. And I honestly mute sometimes when Jericho's on commentary on like at Fighter Fest. I think I muted him a couple of times. I'm sorry for people who are fans of Chris Jericho on commentary. He's funny a little bit, but again, I got to keep my Chris Jericho diet low, okay? Or I just get tired of his shenanigans. But back to the subject. Now, she talked about not being hired in WWE. She was not offered in contract. For people who don't know, referee Aubrey is actually friends with the first WWE referee, Jessica Carr. They've known each other. They've been friends for a long time. And referee Aubrey actually refereed in NXT, and she refereed at the Mae Young Classic, and I think she also refereed at the WWE Evolution show. But she was never offered an official contract. And she says that she doesn't think that the WWE was a good fit for her anyway because she didn't get to be a performer and she wants to have a personality. And that Tony Khan says that our referees have personalities because they're people with personalities. Okay. All right. Tony Khan is just that guy, I guess. I wonder if the referees in the NFL decide to get a personality when the Jacksonville Jaguars are playing, that all of a sudden is it going to be cool? Because I think in all sports, the idea of the referee should be that the referee should enforce the rules and then get out of the way, right? The referee comes in, enforces the rules, and gets out of the way. Now, one thing that I will say is WWE does not announce the referee, which is something that's really strange. But they never really did announce referees. Like people kind of knew who referees were through referees' names being said on TV through various angles or whatever. Like you'll learn who Charles Robinson is through Charles Robinson doing something on TV, like when they use him in an angle or something. And sometimes referees are used in angles. You have, so you'll have like the twin referee thing with Andre and Hogan, or you'll have Little Nate with Charles Robinson, or you will have Nick Patrick, who is the NWO referee. Again, I told you about the AAA referees. But mostly, the referee only really should matter in a match if the referee is a special referee, like when a wrestler is being a referee for a match, because then the referee is the third person in the ring and is a part of the show. Okay, now, and that's actually when the referee is kind of selling tickets, because the referee is kind of like, okay, I want to watch this match because Stone Cold Steve Austin is going to be the referee, or Vince McMahon is going to be the referee, or The Rock is going to be the referee, or whatever. And I remember The Rock refereed one match, and he was terrible. Like he took over the match. Okay, he is the worst referee ever. But ultimately, The point of the referee is to step in, do the rules, and leave. And that's in every fucking sport. Now, yes, the WWE could announce referees like UFC announced referee. And your referee, Herb Dean. And Herb Dean, he waves to the crowd, and then he disappears, and he only does anything when it's time to step in and stop the fight, or if somebody gets hit in the balls or something. Other than that, he doesn't even appear in the fucking, sometimes he's just in the background. He's out of the way. That's how referees should be. The referees in the NFL, they're on the sideline. They're not in the middle. Well, there are some referees that are in the middle of the field. And those people always complain about those referees who are in the middle of the fucking field. At least back when I watched football, people used to be mad that the referees are in the backfield. Okay, you know, I don't know if that's still the case. But the superstar referee is some bullshit. Why is the referee selling merchandise? Why is the referee doing media? She's doing interviews like CBS and stuff, talking about how she wants to be a role model to little girls. And, you know, she's got the, and that really does kind of threw me for a loop, because the part of that article that I read, I would read it out, but I tried. Okay, let me give you a peek behind the curtain. I tried doing this video twice. I kept saying Chef Aubrey because I was so pissed off. I couldn't get right referee, and my lisp was like driving me nuts. But in the article, she was talking about how she's a stern figure and how she doesn't back down from these hulking giant men, and that's what she wants to be a role model to young girls who you don't have to take any crap from men. And I kept thinking to myself, like, God damn it, this is the sport of professional wrestling. These guys are supposed to be 6-foot giants. They're supposed to be tearing at each other, beating the shit out of each other. They're supposed to be blood and razor blades and fire and all type of crazy shit. And you telling me that 5'4" woman is going to get in the middle of that? Is that what I'm supposed to believe? Okay, that a 5'4" woman is going to get in if some guy has got like a death clutch on another guy, and the guy won't let go, even if the other guy got the referee, you know, he got the rope. The female referee is going to get involved and physically remove this guy. Now, Ref Aubrey arguing with Chris Jericho. I mean, Chris Jericho can make a star at anybody. Again, small doses. But ultimately, this concept that she is, you know, going to be maneuvering larger men, no, I'm not going to buy that one, dog. Not gonna buy into Ref Aubrey, you know, pushing guys around or anything like that. Now, it didn't work when fucking Earl Hebner used to try to do it. You remember the whole Earl Hebner trying to push around Triple H and stuff, and they used to get into these shoving matches. I remember I think one of them that Ric Flair used to sell for referees. Like that was so ridiculous, but it was Ric Flair, you know. But it also you know, it kind of played into the Ric Flair character. That's like, you know, the Jericho Aubrey relationship kind of works for the Jericho's character. Like he always argues with referees, but she's kind of giving him the lip back. That's interesting, but she's supposed to disappear. Now, ultimately, what we get from Ref Aubrey is that we get there's a 2 count, and the camera instantly finds her face so she can have her surprise face that it was only a 2. It's like, dude, what the fuck? Like, talk about the actual wrestlers, you know, the guys who are taking the bumps, the guys who are getting power drived, the guys who are taking 1,000 fucking super kicks in the face, the guys who slapping their thighs all night, the guy who was trying to make you some fucking money in the ring. Focus on that guy, and not on your fucking referees. But hey, this is AEW, man. They're breaking all of the rules. They're redefining the rules. You know, they're going to do things differently. And the crazy thing is, why is referee Aubrey the only one that's a superstar referee? How about that? I don't know the names of any other referee in AEW. Which one is the other referees in AEW? I don't have any idea. At least I knew all the names of all the referees in WWE until they started introducing the women. And I didn't have no idea who they were. You know, and then, of course, when they fired Mike Chioda, I knew who he was. You know, but again, I'm okay with the occasional referee angle. You know, occasionally if the referee is doing something, the referee kind of screws one person over even by mistake or a bad call or something like that. I'm okay with the referee kind of being interjected into a story and being used in a story. I'm not okay with the referee being the star of the goddamn show. Okay. Now, there was something interesting that she said. She said that in one of these interviews that WWE oversells things. That in AEW, they made her the referee of the main event and they didn't make a big deal about it. They just did it. And at WWE, they oversell everything. Like, when Jessica Carr became the SmackDown referee, it was shoved in your face, all these sort of things. And yes, WWE does that, and it's annoying. But I don't understand how referee Aubrey doing Talk Is Jericho and being all in the media is any different. Like, okay, we can say that WWE doesn't give their referees personalities. I don't understand why the referee needs to have personality. But also, why is your referees doing media? Shouldn't your stars be doing media? Shouldn't somebody want to do an interview with Brian Cage or Moxley or something like that? Why do they want to do referee? Why do you want to talk to a referee? What do you want to talk to a referee about? Like, good match they had, the good match the other guys had. Like, okay, you can now. Jimmy Corderas on Twitter is actually a wealth of wrestling knowledge, obviously, and a wealth of knowledge about refereeing and stuff like that. So he's a good follow on Twitter. So you should follow Jimmy Corderas if you can. And hopefully you're already following him. And even he says over and over again, their referees make so many mistakes. They're not even good referees. So why are they being stars? Like, he talks almost incessantly about the shitty refereeing in AEW, and yet AEW wants to make the referees fucking stars. They can't even get it right. They can't even get the basic part right, where the referee doesn't even keep track of who's tagging in and who's tagging out. The referees don't count people out. That's becoming a problem in wrestling in general, in period, because it's happening in Japan too. Speaking of which, Red Shoes is only known as Red Shoes. I know he has a real name. I have no idea what his real name is. I probably wouldn't remember it if it is, because it's Japanese. But Red Shoes is a notable referee, but he does his job. He gets in, he kind of does some things, he establishes law and order, and he gets the fuck out the way. But that's becoming a bad refereeing is becoming a thing in all of wrestling now. The not counting guys out when they're outside of the ring, letting guys hit each other with foreign objects. Cody used to do that stuff too. He used to hit people with this belt that he used to have around his waist. And then people started complaining about it, and then he stopped doing it. So, bad refereeing is already a problem in AEW. And I don't think Jessica Carr, I don't think referee Aubrey is even that good of a referee. I think that she wants to be a performer. She even said it in an interview with Talking That she wants to be a performer. She wants to be part of the show. Then she needs to put on some fucking tights. Take off the referee shirt and put on some tights. Get in there and take some body slams if you want to have a personality. Otherwise, get the fuck out the way. All right. Like this video. Share the video. Tell your friends. Subscribe to my channel. And I'll talk to you guys later.